Good. All right. We are live. Beautiful. All righty. Welcome. Let's get going live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and out of, I believe, Portland, Oregon.
You got it.
Out of Oregon. We're all over the place. Live. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, hosted by Byron Jones and me, Victor Rocho, brought to you by The Sportscast. Today's July 28th, 2021. Please subscribe to The Sportscast on all your channels, YouTube, Periscope, and iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please subscribe to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. Just go to that little podcast button on your iPhone. Hit it, hit search, put Jersey Boys. You'll see me and Byron there. Please subscribe, leave a review. It'll help us out tremendously. You could also visit us on thesportscast.net. You can follow up on all the news on the Olympics, everything that's going on, the sportscast.net. Subscribe to their newsletter and keep you up to date with what's happening on the sports every day. Follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1. Also, please check out their app on the Sportscast Apple app on iOS as well. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, hit the notifications, and anytime we're live, you'll see us going on live. We are streaming live on Facebook right now, so those of you want to call in, we get a lot of people at least stream in or make some comments. We like to answer everybody's comments. And we're on live both channels, YouTube and on Facebook. And today we got a guest host, Joe Capral. But before we go into that, I always want to find out how Byron's doing over there. And he's either hot. Oh, I don't know. I think he's just getting, no offense, he's becoming an old woman. He's got whole hot flashes.
Oh, you had to start like that. Okay.
I had to throw that bomb out quick, man.
Well, guess what? Everything was great this week.
Oh, my God. That's it. Show's over.
It wasn't. We're done. Wasn't too hot. Wasn't too cold. Everybody with the Meals on Wheels. I delivered all my food. To everybody. Everybody was home. Not normally like I had to chase them all over the place. Everything was great. All week.
Did you just go live and say that you're complaining how you're doing a voluntary Meals on Wheels and you complain because you got to chase them?
Yeah, you do have to chase them. You sit there, you go to the house, you knock on the door, they ain't home. Then you call.
Meals on Wheels. You got to chase them.
Nah. Then you call them on the phone. All right. Then you leave. The next you know, they call me back on the phone. Oh, well, I had to step out for a minute. So then I got to stop doing what I'm doing, drive all the way back over there to bring the food over there. It happens every day.
I got it. I had to adjust my light switch there. All right. Well, so the weather's already here. It's beautiful here. It was kind of crazy. It's storm season in Florida. So it's beautiful all day. And then about 2 to 4, it'll go pitch black, thunderstorm with like crazy thunder and lightning, which I love, especially when you could sleep, but it's during the day, so it stinks. You watch a good movie. Only thing is my dogs get nervous. And then right after that, the sun comes out. Right now the skies are blue. So it goes from beautiful day to like a thunder lightning bolt storm for a couple hours, and then it's now blue skies all over again. Hey, I'd like to welcome our guest host, our Joe Capraro. Remember Joe before. He's the son of my former college coach, and God rest his soul. But Joe is also a host for his Sports Plus show on WXOJ in Springfield, Massachusetts, wherever podcast can be found. He was a college, high school umpire, basketball referee, football, baseball coach for many years. Comes from a football, sports, and actually a musical family. No, Joe?
Yeah. My mom was a music teacher for decades.
Now he is a freelance web designer. He does killer web designing, living in Portland, Oregon. Joe, we expect you to be a regular host from time to, a regular host, guest host for us. So there'll be no introduction other than us telling you about your show. And your show is on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Is that correct?
Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can go to valleyfreeradio.org or wxoj.org, and if you want to listen live.
Okay, great. Valleyfree.org.
Valley Free Radio, yep.
valleyfreeradio.org, and check him out on 11 o'clock Eastern time. And that would be 8 a.m. on your side of the town, no?
I am back on my side of town after 46 days away, 8,000 miles on a 42-year-old Jeep and on a 50-year-old spine, surgically repaired a bunch of times. So I'm grateful to be home.
You drove to all those places?
I drove the whole way. I left my house on June 12th. And like we've done 2 of these shows and I was in 2 different places, I think.
Yes.
When we did those 2 shows.
I didn't know you drove. I thought you flew in.
Yeah, no, I was driving and trying to take it slow because honestly, in a 42-year-old Jeep, about 300, 400 miles a day is all you can do. I mean, my younger days, I could drive 800 miles, on the freeway, but I was trying to stay off the freeways, trying to stay on roads that are better for a 40-year-old Jeep, which is, you see, it's a whole different America that you see because you're going through all these towns that time is forgotten since the interstate was built, and it's funny, they all sort of look the same, but
how long did it take you?
46 days, but 2.5 weeks I was at my sister's with all the
how much drive, like how many days in drive time?
Let's see, so 46, I would say I probably drove, it was 10 days going out and I think 18 coming back. 17 or 18 coming back, but I took it much slower. Coming back, I wasn't so much.
Ira doesn't even want to go to Kansas City. He doesn't even want to fly there.
Nope.
He want to go to a Kansas City game with one of his buddies. He doesn't even want to fly there.
It's a 2-hour flight, Byron.
Can't do it.
Dustin likes your shirt. Well, he usually went out. Let's get into that. But Joe, that's funny. I guess you're only 8 years older than the Jeep.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, Byron, I'm with you on the not flying. I and that's part of the reason I drove because I had flown back.
No, he doesn't mind flying. He just doesn't want to go to the cold.
I don't want to fly either. I want to stay on the ground where I belong.
Well, it's not that bad of a drive.
He's got more excuses than me. I can't know what else to tell you.
That's a pretty nice drive, actually. Through you go through Kentucky and Tennessee and parts of North Carolina, probably West Virginia. That's a nice drive. You should take the drive. I
was stationed in Kentucky, so I've driven from Kentucky back to Jersey. So it's nice, areas.
It's green. There's mountains. There's stuff to see. Then you get once you get into Kansas or that Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Oklahoma, it's just corn. 500 miles of corn.
Yep.
Vonda didn't like something I said, so sorry, Vonda. She said that's not nice, Victor. I don't know what I said, but she didn't like it. Justin likes your shirt, so.
I know he's not talking about mine. I've been wearing this for 2 days.
No. Justin Riley likes his shirt. He's a guest host on our show sometimes, and he's also got his own show on Tuesdays. Hey, but let's get into our show. Today's show, we want to we're dedicating this show to a tremendous athlete and a longtime friend of Byron's.
My cousin, family cousin,
and Byron's cousin. He was a standout at Mattawan football. He's a standout at Rutgers. Where I'm wearing Rutgers today. Besides representing Jersey, I don't know which shirt. I always forget which way I got to go. Rutgers, and then he also served in the military. So Byron, I got the clip, but maybe you want to talk a little bit first as I cue up the clip.
I didn't. Yeah. I didn't realize like as far as my cousin. I forgot that he was all state in wrestling too. He was a wrestler in high school, like very good wrestler. He was a beast. And then playing.
It's a big wrestler. You got to be hard to make weight.
It was 225, and he played running back in high school. He was a running back at 6'1", 225 pounds. The other guy, Gary Weber, was 230, and all of them were over 200 pounds because they ran a single wing back then with Barry Rizzo at Mattawan High School, and they were famous for running that because even when my Uncle David played there in the 50s, they ran the same offense with the same coach. But I didn't know he was, such a great, athlete, as far as, with the wrestling and the football, accomplishments and stuff. And, he should have been in the NFL. He should have, he had to try out with, with Denver and, just things just like me, just didn't work out. And, it was great. I'm always going to love the guy, but, he was just one of those guys, he was hard on you in a funny way. And, that's one of the things, I'm always going to remember of my cousin.
Right. And you have any other? That one, I just want to bring up a picture of that here. Hold on a second. And he's got a family too, no?
Oh yeah, here we got a whole bunch of family members. He's got he's survived by
Can you see the picture, Joe?
that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I'm
He's
looking at
survived by his son Edward Stewart, his daughter, his everybody has daddy's girl Janine, Lawton granddaughter Michaela,
Yeah, you got a lot
grandson
of
Cameron.
look at the football he's holding, Rutgers.
Oh.
That's what I'm going to represent Rutgers.
Of course, but then he was also a Oakland Raider, Las Vegas Raider fan too, big time. Even though he was a Jersey guy. But he's got a lot of family members are going to miss him. A couple of them were able to go out to Lawton because he was laid to rest at Fort Sill National Cemetery. They had old military.
Is that it, or he was sick? No, he had sick.
Yeah, he was sick. For a while, and he just.
I didn't know that when he was on our show. I didn't know there was any indication that he was sick.
Yeah, he was sick for a while. Between a lot of those guys that served in Desert Storm, whatever they went through, is kind of like the Agent Orange stuff that they had in Vietnam. I think a lot of them had the same problems when they came back from Desert Storm with the COPD and a whole bunch of issues. Not just him, but it was a whole bunch of other guys that I know personally that served in the military that are having breathing issues when they went over here and came back. Can't hear you, Victor.
I was queuing up the piece. You mind if I cue this up right now?
That's fine.
No, you can keep going. Just tell me and I stop it. Okay.
That one? Oh yeah.
That's you signing, right?
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Byron, that was the
Which picture you
picture of
talking-
him signing. Remember the picture you
Ed,
said?
how you doing?
That when he
doing
originally
great.
went to he had signed with Colorado State and whatever transpired there,
That was
he
that
ended up
black and white picture, right?
whatever happened, he ended up at Rutgers, and look what
Awesome.
happened. It worked
I
out
hope
for him.
you heard what I had said. Thank you for your service, and you have tremendous accolades. As I said, my dad was a 20-year Army vet as well.
You know what? I didn't even know you were talking about me when you were saying all that good stuff. Then it dawned on me.
That's how big. That's how great Ivan thinks of you. So Brian gave me the intro, and you did a lot of great stuff, and you should be proud of that. Just being in the Hall of Fame in both at high school and college is very, very impressive. And then more impressive is serving in the military for 21 years. So that's fantastic. So Ed, yes, go ahead.
It inspired me to do what I did when I was in the military, when I played the football. It's all about the leadership, and we were young and dumb, and we just did our thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, I just like to hit people. So I guess that's where the accolades come.
He was good, very good at it.
And Byron, just tell me and I'll pause it. Go ahead.
And he was very good at hitting people.
Yeah, apparently he was a pretty big bad guy too.
Played that semi-pro football also, the New Jersey Rams.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah, in Montclair State, of the home place. But it was pretty nice up there. I met some real good people. The more you travel, the more people you meet. It just it gets to where your next task is.
Right.
So
this
is how that
you
is.
felt the sports helped you in the military?
Oh yeah. I'm in Fort Sill, Oklahoma right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a melting pot of everybody from all over the United States and other countries. And so, in view of this pandemic situation here now, you get back to your basics. You got to talk to people right, face to face. It's not all about texting and everything. And, because of the fact that I was exposed to all these other different people over here, it helped me out, before I got here, and it helped me out in my present time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see that.
You know what I mean?
So right. So how did it feel being back then in Mattawan? I mean, you grew up in Long Branch, right? Or is that
No,
correct?
Mattawan.
Mattawan. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see Long Branch, or somebody else. How was it growing up in Mattawan? That's kind of south of us, isn't it, Byron?
Yeah, a little bit south.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it was. You know, I got to meet some real good people.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and my father were in that area up there, and so you learn these different traditions, and you know, it's you grow up with these guys, and you're lifelong friends with them. You know, recently my wife passed away, and I got all these phone, you know, all these. Thank you, sir. I got all these. My friends were all calling me, and so they all stuck together. It only took one call to get everybody involved with that. So, you know, it's a feel good thing. When you go up there, we had the banquet, the Mattawan banquet. I mean, you know, that was you know, I got to see everybody and you know how we all aged and stuff. But the real kicker was when I came back from Desert Storm, is when I was before that I had been inducted into the Rutgers Football Hall of Fame, and so I seen all my friends and you know there were all these people I hadn't seen. I didn't even know I was going to have to talk, so I didn't have no speech written. And so when they called my name, Ricky, my boy Ricky Butler, he says, "Yo, man, you got to go up there and talk." And I looked at him, and I had to freelance on that, and they had filmed it, and so they cut me a tape of that, and you could see you couldn't see how nervous I was, but you could hear it in my voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I can imagine.
Hey, Byron, I wanted to cut a little bit there, but you know, it's funny how you I would have known that he was sick when we had him on, you know, and then I remember now he mentioned that his wife had just passed, so his family lost his mom and dad at an early age, right? Because he's in his 50s, right?
Oh, you know, my Aunt Barbara, because I was my father's sister, you know, his mom, and my Aunt Barbara, and you know, she passed away, you know, early, you know, a while back, and you know, his wife had passed away probably within like the last year or so, I guess, within the last year, you figure we talked to him in October, so it was like a little bit before that when his wife passed away. And you know, he was doing his thing. You know, he was doing the best he could do. You know, as far as you know, his daughter took great care of Janine. You know, as far as you know, making sure he ate. You know, his doctor's appointment, and she did everything a daughter is supposed to do, especially daddy's girl. Did everything that you know, and it's just you know, it was sad. You know, just the way the whole stuff that the way it transpired. And you know, I'm gonna miss my cousin. But you know, he was sick and you know he was suffering and you know he's gonna be he's in a better place. You know, he's just one of those kind of people. And he's going to be, you know, in a better place.
He's up there playing for Coach Capraro.
Yeah, well, he's playing with Uncle David.
Uncle David, Uncle Cliff.
No, my father wasn't. No, he wasn't a football guy. My Uncle David was on the first.
I thought you guys were playing at Clifford. No.
Yeah, for Clifford. My Uncle David was on the first Mattawan championship team in 1955. So just sad to say, but I'm the third best football player in our family.
Still, that means you got a great football family. Let me tell you. You know what's funny is Joe, as you hear him speak, you see how soft spoken he is. And Byron is some degree soft spoken. And we have another friend of ours, Mark Horilick. And he's got the hardest last name to say. I thought Orocho was hard, but Horilick is another NCAA
Clemson.
From Clemson, national champion, Army Ranger, and they're all soft spoken, and they're some of the toughest, defensive, meanest dudes you'll ever meet. And then you watch these like movies, and you ever notice the bad guy's like, he's got a voice like this, you know, he's got this like mean voice. I'm like, man, you ain't no mean man. You see these soft-spoken guys, they will crush you.
And then Mark was All-State the year before me. Mark was first team All-State in Jersey in '79, and I was All-State in 1980 the next year.
Right.
Well, when I was at Texas covering the football team there, they had a guy who was a former Green Beret. He was like 33 years old playing for UT, and he was the same way. He was on the field, the meanest guy. He's a former Green Beret. Guy had flown all over the world, but to hear him talk, he sounded like a second grade teacher.
That was a guy. Isn't that the guy that told Colin Kaepernick about kneeling?
Yeah, Nate Boyer. Yeah.
He ended up with Seattle Seahawks with a long snapper.
Yeah. And what Coach Jones was talking about was when Colin Kaepernick was deciding, what form his protest was going to take, Nate Boyer was the guy who suggested to him. And again, we're talking about a former soldier who suggested to him that he take a knee because that was a respectful way to show that you're, to make your demonstration. And it's funny how Kaepernick's intent got all twisted to that he was protesting the military when that was really the furthest thing from what he was trying to do. He was actually soliciting help from someone in the military, someone from the military, to try and get his message across more accurately. So it's, it's a shame that it got twisted so badly, but I wish more people knew about that.
Yeah, well, they leave those pieces out, but it's also about timing. I mean, Tim Tebow got criticized for praying before a game, and we all prayed before games. Like
every game
we said Our Father. They didn't care what religion you were.
Every game,
right? I mean, and it was in the locker room. He did it in front of people. Where in the locker room, it's just us.
Now, I'm curious. I wonder, do they do that still in high schools? Like, do they say Christian prayers before every game, or is
coached it a long time? But remember, we said it before every game.
I know we did a Perth Amboy every game.
Perth Amboy every game. We did it in college. We did it before every game too.
We did at college too. Yeah, at Swarthmore and at Woodbridge too. Yeah,
college before every game, we did it and so forth. A lot. Well, let's move forward. But who also soft spoken but has the record for the most broken helmets at Baylor?
Singletary.
Yes, he broke more helmets than anyone ever at Baylor University. And you ever hear him speak?
He's still pretty lucid, right? He's in better shape than any of us.
Guy does well. I'm talking about he doesn't have a problem speaking. His problem is he's soft spoken. You know what I mean?
I thought you meant he'd been brain damaged from all the broken helmets.
No. The guy, actually, he's doing very well from a business perspective.
But he didn't do so well as a coach, though.
No.
Okay, Vonda, why you say anything to your brother now? Why you got to be the mean guy, Vonda? Don't be sticking up for your brother all the time, man. So, well, Edward, Ed, thank you for coming on our show. I know you're listening to us here. It was my honor to October 20th to have met you through Byron and his family, and it's just Byron, one thing I love about our show is that we now go into record books. You know what I mean? We're history now, right? His family could always go back, send them the link. They want to hear his voice. That's some of the reasons I do enjoy doing this and interviewing some people on and trying to get our coaches and get some of our players on. Gives them an opportunity to kind of memorialize themselves. And it's like Darryl Cross when he came on, he was he's Darryl Cross is a superstar athlete in every sport possible. But he was enjoying us listening to us coaches talking about him. He goes, man, you guys say that again because my kids don't believe me. They don't believe me I was a good athlete. Because apparently these kids are pretty good athletes too. So it's this is good to have people on, and also gives them a chance. And unfortunately, when something like this happens, it's nice to be able to go back into our records and be able to pull up and hear his voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he didn't even mention that I didn't know he was sick. I mean, you didn't mention anything about him being sick before he came on or anything. He was sick then, no?
Yeah.
And then, and like Coach Caparo, I didn't know he was sick either. I mean, according to your mom's, Joe, when the doctor saw his record, his reports or records, they were like, how can this guy still be going without? I mean, he was in lots of pain.
I mean, he had multiple spinal surgeries, strokes, heart attack, tons of surgeries. He went through a lot in the last it was really just the last couple of years, and Parkinson's is tough, man. It goes, he was okay, and then all of a sudden, just the last couple months, just right off the cliff. It's tough. It's a tough thing to go through, especially for my mom.
And so Justin's letting us know that Saban and the players still pray before games. And then Justin said, Byron, you can't blame Singletary in his tenure at 49ers. The organization was a dumpster fire.
That is true, but he tried to do that old school coaching thing. And for some reason, it just didn't work out.
You're just a mean, tough linebacker. It's got to be kind of hard. All right, so look, let's get a little bit into the sports and the parts of the show. Okay, I just got something I want to bring up. You guys, I don't know how much of the Olympics you're watching, but there's certain areas that I watch. And one thing that I do want to bring up is, how we're always talking about these athletes being compared to others. And Byron, I don't like that, particularly a young athlete being compared to the Hall of Famers of the future, because you agree, Byron, it's about consistency. You have one great year doesn't make you a great player, right? You got to be great for a long period of time, right? So it kind of bothers me. You may have those like tendencies, but you know how many of the next Michael Jordans were coming out of college and never became the next Michael Jordans, right? So, but this kid, Caleb Dressel, you guys familiar with his name? He's a swimmer. Okay, so, and you guys know Michael Phelps, right? You've heard of Michael Phelps, right? So this kid, he's from Florida, and Caleb Dressel was being compared. He was asked, he goes, well, how does it feel like being compared to Michael Phelps as being, the greatest compared to him? And the guy goes, well, he felt like, he goes, it's not fair. And the reporter goes, what do you mean it's not fair? He goes, it's not fair to Michael Phelps. He goes, Michael Phelps, he's a better swimmer than I am. And he said it so nonchalantly. He goes, there's no comparison. He's just a better swimmer. Okay. And he goes, I'm fine being compared to Michael. And then he goes on to state, he goes, he does not need to be compared. He does not need himself to be compared to Michael Phelps to know that he's great. He goes, I'm good enough being another guy that's great, but I don't have to be as great as he was. I'm just happy to be in his area. And this kid is good. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
And he's only 24. So
but
it was
not
nice because those sports are like individual, right? And then their team, because then they have the relay. And I'm sorry for 1 second, Byron. And then, but even when it's got its own individual sport, right? It's nice to now I'm not worrying about that stuff as much. It's like that LeBron James and other kind of, why? I even tell the kids that are arguing, let's make no confusion. He's either one or two on somebody's side, but that's a lot of NBA players. And then you got to count Bill Russell. That's some pretty good company.
Why can't Bill Russell get the respect he deserves? He is the greatest winner of all time. 11 championships in 13 years, and he doesn't get any respect.
He gets it. He gets it. Just
I have less of an argument with anyone who wants to put Russell 1 than I do with people who want to put Jordan 1, because I think if you put 5 LeBrons on the court with 5 Jordans, the 5 LeBrons are going to run the Jordans up and down the court. I mean, LeBron, well, I don't want to get into this argument because we could probably do 6 shows on it, but I mean, LeBron's just his body alone. But that's why I agree, Vic. You can't compare era to era because the amount of training that the worst player in the NBA does now is more than what the best player was, more than Jordan did in his prime. So I think the baseline for what an NBA body is and what an NBA body can do has changed so much.
Yeah, I'm just more just the fact that I don't think it's, the Donovan Mitchells are in the game, but just when they were comparing someone to already a person that was already done it several times over, and the guy's already young in his career, he's got the possibilities, but you can't compare him to someone who's done it consistently. It's like having a pitcher that wins the Cy Young in 1 year and then just plummets after that forever.
So is any of this triggered by Antetokounmpo getting too much credit for his one championship?
I think Antetokounmpo, he deserves every credit he got. He put
that team on his back.
I've never seen anybody come back with that kind of knee injury.
The last time I was on, I remember you saying that, oh yeah, they're done. He's out. And he ended up missing 2 games. It seemed like it was going to be a lot more, but
look, I picked Phoenix to win in 6. So there's no confusion there. And I was wrong there. And 2, when they said the kind of knee injury they said he had, I didn't think he was coming back.
Yeah.
But what did I tell you?
What'd you tell me? I'm sure you.
Didn't I tell you Milwaukee was going to win? Did I? Did I not?
I don't know. We might have to go back to the
We
tape.
might have to go back to the tape.
I'm gonna concede to this one. I'm gonna concede to you this one. 'Cause I was wrong, so I don't know what you said. Don't matter. But what matters to me is I know I was wrong. I did say that they were done because they were down 2-0 and he got hurt. If he didn't play, they would not win.
I didn't argue with you one bit when you said they were done.
Yeah, but for him to come back of an extended knee injury and he played, he didn't just he played.
Those last two games,
He
that
played.
was
There is no. The reason I brought up Caleb was just the humility of not going back and forth and not being like just say no, that guy's better than me. Meanwhile, he's wearing multiple gold rings, gold medals around his neck. You know what I mean? It's like it was refreshing to me.
I think Phelps has like 23 or 28 medals or whatever he has. He has like a crazy amount of number, like a crazy amount of medals.
This kid's only 24, bro. He's coming up on him. Remember, he could play. He could go be in another Olympics one more time.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I mean. 24 is getting a little old for an Olympian. I mean, look at even Katie Ledecky.
He won a gold medal with Phelps. He was on the team with Phelps.
Oh wow!
So this kid's got medals.
You look at Katie Ledecky. She was unbeatable in 2016, and now she lost to this woman from Australia who looks like she's going to be around for a while too. She's 2 years younger. So, I mean, it's so funny. Like we have 3 old men here. So to talk about people who are, going to be 28 next Olympics, well, that's kind of past their peak. It sounds weird because I'd eat my shoe to be 28 again.
Let's see, 28.
I was just for Florida. But anyhow, I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was refreshing to hear an athlete say that and honor someone else and just humble themselves, but knowing that I don't need to be better or not to be great. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, right? Just leave it alone. Let somebody else do the argument for you. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I brought that. It had nothing to do with Giannis deserves that town. They had 65,000 people. Man, don't even get me going on. I thought that it was just a phenomenal, great job for Milwaukee, and Byron was right, whatever he said. All right, so let's move on to that. All right, so now we got the Giants. All right, so Byron, I got a few pieces here, so let's tell me where you want me to start. You brought up the 3-4 defense. I can bring that up real quick. And then I got a couple headlines we got Sterling Shepard is Giant slot weapon once again. They're talking about Joe Judge remaining patient with Saquon Barkley, and also talking about how he's really focused on conditioning.
Keep going.
And then the one more was with that recent post that I guess Billy Braun put up with that guy. What was up with that one?
Well, keep going. Kelvin Benjamin got walked out of practice today. He was the one that was.
He walked off practice.
Yeah, he was out. He's done. They're gonna release him. I guess he was gonna. He ate himself out of a job or whatever he did because he's coming back as a tight end. Because Gettleman drafted him when he was at Carolina. And I guess, they had a little talk. They said they would have a little talk. And the next he ripped his helmet off and off into the sunset he went. So Kelvin Benjamin is done.
Yeah.
And let's bring up I'm only going to bring up a little bit about the offensive line. What did I keep telling you? They already got one hurt that they signed. Jonathan Harrison, the center, is already on that list. The starting right tackle, Matt Pearl, is already out and hurt already. Nobody even touched him, and his back hurts already. So that's 2. So I'm done with the offensive line because you always have to bring it up all the time. So I'm good.
Oh yeah, man. I'm not gonna debate. All I know is that who is it? Freddie Kitchens, right? Freddie Kitchens. He's got a lot of high-level coaches that are not in high-level positions, man. Judge has done a pretty good job though, surrounding them with some smart coaches.
We'll see how smart they are in a couple weeks.
Okay, but on paper, you gotta agree, he's done a pretty good job for a special teams coach to surround themselves with that kind of coaches.
Well, that's what you want. Here, we're gonna throw a Nick Saban thing with Alabama. What does he do? He always loses. Like was it Sarkisian? He lost him to Texas. He had another coach went to Tennessee back in the day. And he has coaches that come on his staff, and then next year they get seasoned up a year or two, and next year they're off to the other jobs. I think Bill O'Brien is down there too now with Alabama. So same thing. Maybe he's trying to do the same thing. Surround himself with all these good guys. Get this thing rolling or whatever you want to call it. Because Patrick Graham, if he does well, with the defense, he probably won't have. He probably get looking at a job too next year. But we'll see.
That's okay. I mean, you're doing pretty good though. If your team is winning, right? They be getting the job. If they're not winning, none of them are getting the job.
And then you got all the people saying, how many games they say the Giants are going to win next year? What have I been saying? You see that? What does that say? That's 7.
You were higher than 7, but now you're at 7.
No.
7-11.
I've been saying 7 and 10.
Hold on. I'm gonna put this in my agenda for today. I'm done. I'm writing this one down.
7 and 10. Write it down, man.
Okay, Byron, right? And I got Byron and Joe Brown here. Byron says 7 and 11, isn't it?
Oh, 7 and 10. It's 17 games. And
Yeah.
then while I'm throwing bombs all over the place, I might as well. What's up with Zach Wilson not signing his contract? The only first round guy that had to sign.
The most Jets thing that could possibly happen. They've got the only first round pick, the number one, the guy you want in
camp. Time out, Joe, before you go. I messaged Joe. I go, Joe, you come on the show, you're a Jet fan. I'm happy because I wanted him to come on and go, is there anything particular would you like to bring up about the Jets or even the AFC? Byron, we'll either talk about the Jets or we'll talk about the AFC. He goes, no, just about the coach dying. And now you hit me with Zach Wilson. Dude, how'd you forget that one?
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping that we would get this one to sneak by this week, but
no.
Good job, Byron.
I mean, again, it's the guy you need in camp first, the guy that has to do the most work of anyone on that roster, and he's the only first round draft pick that hasn't signed yet. And how hard is it to negotiate rookie contracts in the NFL now? And if this guy's supposed to be your savior, you give him whatever the heck he wants. Give him whatever he's asking for if you think he's that good.
They're all slotted. They all get, like whatever they got.
Max Byron,
whatever they got last year, they get 10% more this year. It's all slotted, and that's what they're supposed to get. That's
right. Give him max. The only thing is how much of it is bonus, how much of it is salary. But give him whatever he wants. Give him whatever he wants. If you think he's good enough to draft him where you drafted him, you got to give him what he's asking for, just to get him in camp.
So.
I mean, what's the big deal? If he's good, nobody's going to care about $500,000 either way. And if he's lousy, no one's going to care about $500,000 either way.
And then the quarterback they have, who is Mike White? Who's this guy they got in camp now?
I don't know.
They got the quarterback they have now.
He doesn't even know his own
question. Mike White, that's the guy's name. I don't know where this guy came from.
Yeah, no, he was an undrafted or like 6th or 7th round pick from 2 or 3 years ago. He's never, he's been the clipboard holder since. Yeah, but no, the same thing when I was looking at when they got rid of Darnold, like who's left on the roster, and he was the only guy they had left on the roster in the quarterback position. Yeah,
I cannot believe, Joe, that you didn't even think that to bring up Zach Wilson. I didn't even know he didn't sign. I thought it was all done.
Nope.
Remember, Byron? They were number 3 in duos.
Well, guess what?
They may not even have half of the duo.
Their D singer is not on the stage.
It's going to be another long, sad year as a Jet.
We'll get to the Jets in a little bit. All right, Byron. So where are we going to head off? I want to start off on 3-4 defense. You want to talk about Saquon? Give him some time.
3-4 defense.
All right, let me bring it up because I had it in here. Why don't you start talking about it as I'm bringing it up?
Well, one, I got to see it because I don't have it sitting in front of me.
Talk about your thought behind it.
They've always run a 3-4 defense or something like a hybrid, 4-3, so, it's one of those kind of defenses. It's whenever you decide to bring it up so I can see what I'm doing.
And how did you,
how do
you like the 3-4 defense? Man, I would have loved to play, I guess growing up playing 3-4 defense probably would have been impossible because you didn't have those 3 type of athletes enough, right?
Yeah, but if you look at we played with the 5-2 defense.
5-2, yeah, we did too. Yeah, I think every high school
4. Everybody paid a 4-4 or a
5-2.
Yeah.
That's it. That was the only thing that was around. So I kind of like the 4-4 better than I did the 5-2.
I was not a good enough athlete for either system to play defense.
Well, the 4-4 when we switched with your dad over there, then I was able to light it up because they couldn't zone in on me as just a free safety. In a 5-2, I was stuck only in the center, right? In a 4-4, depending on the strength of the Mike and you know what strength and Richard or what was the other one? I forgot the weak side, right?
Mike and Will, right?
Mike and Will, right? I would either come up as a strong safety or I'd come up as a corner, or I'd go back as a safety. So I was able to play 3 different positions at any given time, depending on how they shifted their offense. That gave me an advantage from not only tackling, from sacking, and also interceptions. Because once I was in the center, you know, they wouldn't throw the ball that much.
Well, if I remember right, he switched over because he was running out of D linemen, and you need 3 big mooses to clog up the middle, and if you're going to run that five man front. So I think that's why is that the big D linemen were harder to come by.
Yeah, now I think we have more athletic guys too, being able to switch. But that was one, and 2 was when Coach Peters was running it. You know, Coach Peter and I were talking. I says, look, I need to move around. Because my sophomore year, they were letting me play every receiver. So I was able to play corner more my sophomore year than I did my junior year. And then we're able to switch to a 4-4. And when we switched to a 4-4, that helped me out a lot because I was able to play multiple positions. So once I stuck at safety, it was, you know what I mean? I couldn't shut down some of the things I wanted to. Anyhow, all right, let's go. Byron, what you got? Can you see that? Let me bring it up bigger.
I'm not that blind, man.
No, for me.
Oh, okay.
See that, man? Even when I give you a compliment, you got to give it.
Yeah, it's too late for that now.
Okay. All right, what do you got here? I'm telling you, Joe, Byron is building somebody's $1 million fantasy football.
They better give me some money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They better give us some money. What are you talking about? I keep telling you, we're looking for sponsors. They give us some money. Byron's building you. He's building you your fantasy football team right in front of your eyes.
Oh, pretty much. This is the defense. What is, you know, as of right now, the bodies that they have in camp. But the starters should be a defensive end, of course, the big guy, Dexter Lawrence.
Here, I gave you mouse control, so you can move your mouse if you want.
I ain't moving nothing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Just move Dexter Lawrence, Danny Shelton, the guy, you know, the one they signed with New England last year. He's a big, you know, about big body. They're about 350, 360 in the middle. And you got Leonard Williams. Hopefully, now since he didn't got paid, that you know, he'll continue to play at the high level that he did last year. And the white, you know, like the outside linebacker Lorenzo Carter was hurt. Remember last year, for that X-Man, the guy under him was hurt.
Where are you at?
Huh?
Where are you at? Linebackers?
Yeah, weak side linebacker.
Okay, got it. Go ahead.
So these 2 guys are coming off injuries on the 1 and 2 guys. So we'll see how that's all going to play out. So he's a Georgia kid. So hopefully, then of course we have another one of our favorite guys, Justin's guys, Reggie Ragland, inside linebacker from Alabama. Go Alabama, roll Tide. We have Trey Carter. Crowder was the starter last year. Another Georgia guy that, you know, played well. He was the last guy.
Crowder, I like Crowder.
Yeah, he was the last guy picked in the draft last year, or the year before. So, you know, hopefully, you know, he could be the starter, but we'll see. Blake Martinez, tackling machine, so he should be fine. He's in a COVID protocol thing right now, so we'll see with him. And Azeez Ojulari.
Isn't that the pick? That was like our pick of the draft.
Yeah, the pick of the draft in the second round. That was the one that, you know, I thought your head was going to explode, you know, because, you know, they picked this guy, and, you know, I was waiting for you to pass out while you were stuffing your face, eating bread and, you know, the cheese. And
I never go there again for draft.
Yeah, that was a good idea. But the X factor is going to be the guy underneath Ojulari, which is Odin, whatever his name is. This guy, the one they got from Minnesota.
Yeah, they mentioned him a lot too. He's a sleeper guy. They were saying
he's a sleeper guy right there. And then another Alabama guy is underneath him, Ryan Anderson, they got him from the Washington Redskins. And then
more Bama. They got 3
more
Bama linebackers.
Bama. And then, yeah, then Ellison Smith is the outside linebacker they picked this year from Northern Iowa, and he's going to be like, what's that? Like Vrabel. How do you say Mike Vrabel?
Yeah, Vrabel.
He's kind of like him. This kid is like 6'6", about 250. So I can see him kind of not being the player that he was, but them trying to, where he could put his hand in the dirt, rush the passer, drop back, set the edge and do all the things that he needs to do at that size.
But they're not going to pick all. They can't play. They can't have all these guys on the team.
Now, some of them a lot of them are going to get cut. You figure like Trent Harris probably won't make it. Trent, TJ Brunson, Cale Garrett. A lot of these guys that are on here now are just camp bodies because you have to have, there's 90 guys assigned.
They expanded the player the practice squad, didn't they?
Yeah. So a lot of these guys, they're going to end up on the practice squad with either the Giants or another team.
That helps out with the guys getting more. I think they needed to expand their practice squad, especially with COVID.
I wish they had that back in the day. I would have been on somebody's practice squad, but
Exactly. I'll take it.
I'll take it. I would have took it. Then we have James Bradbury, one of the top 5.
You're loaded. Look at the defensive backs we got.
Yeah, but Sam Beal is not going to be there. That's the one that he drafted like 3 or 4 years ago in the supplemental draft, and he's been, if anybody's ever fragile, it's him. He's worse than Tua. He's hurt every year.
Justin, we got a defensive back that's worse than Tua. He compared a cornerback to a quarterback.
This guy is always, his back hurts, his pinky toe hurts, his pinky finger hurts. Everything constantly. He's always, last year he opted out, for COVID, but something's always wrong with him. So this is it. They drafted all these receivers.
Where's Ryan Anderson?
Strong side linebacker.
I just think you're crazy if you don't think he's gonna start.
He might. Nah. They're gonna give the young kid the first shot. They drafted him, so we'll see. Who else?
Jabril Peppers is solid.
Logan Ryan is solid. Xavier McKinnon's solid. That's the one that got hurt, and sat out like 10 or 12 games last year. So he's going to be another Alabama player.
Oh my God.
Yeah, loaded. And then Dory Smith. They signed.
Alabama can take all the NFL players and make an expansion team.
No, they just get the team that's down in Alabama and bring them. They could be the 33rd team.
Oh my God.
With the way they're playing these kids now, paying them, they might as well become the 33rd team.
I hear this a lot. If Alabama went to the NFL, they'd be 0-17 every year. The thing you got to remember is they might put, even on a good year, 10 or 12 players in the NFL. Every other NFL team has 53 NFL players.
Yep.
So you're talking about a team that's going to be a quarter as ready as any NFL team. I think it's a great thought experiment, but if it actually happened, it would be.
No, but you could make the argument for that during a 5-year period, right? Whether it's from their junior year forward, a 5-year period, there's enough Alabama players in the league that can make a team.
So you're saying, there's a difference between saying you want Alabama to play.
Well, that's what Byron said. Me was saying that pretty much you could take a bunch of Alabama players that's already in the NFL and create an NFL team.
Oh. That'd be interesting if they.
What I meant to say was, how these kids are getting paid now, with their name and everything.
Yeah.
That some of those kids that are at Alabama are going to make more money. There's some of the guys that are playing the NFL now.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, all right, so let's transition it. This looks good, Byron. I think there's a lot more players than I was expecting. But
a lot of these guys are going to get, once they cut down, a lot of these names will be taken off of there. They're not going to have these many guys, going to the season.
Yeah, that's no way. But they usually keep a good amount of one thing the Giants have done in the past is kept a decent amount of defensive backs.
They're going to keep like James Bradbury. You highlight this: Bradbury, Holmes probably. Rodarius Williams, they're going to keep. Who's that? Probably, yeah. Bradbury.
Mm,
Yeah. Peppers, Julian Love, they're going to keep. Logan Ryan, McKinney, Dory Jackson, probably Aaron Robinson on the other side. How many's that? That should be 7 or
Who's
8.
the other one?
Huh?
Who's the other one?
I said Julian Love, they're going to keep him.
Mhm.
Where's the other one? Aaron Robinson.
2, 4, 6, 7. Aaron Robinson. What about that Isaac?
And then Rodarius Williams.
Oh yeah, but he was another guy they said is a sleeper.
Well, they drive probably those guys will be the ones that will be hanging around.
2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, I remember one time we carried like probably 8 to 11 or something like that. I forgot. Crazy number of defensive backs. Yeah, I'll give him a chance to also be the practice squad.
Yep.
All right, this looks good. Let's post it up. I think I'm gonna build my own fantasy football team this year. I ain't got to do any research. That's the number one thing I didn't want to do, deal with fantasy football. All the work to see these guys put in. Man, I can't believe time's flying. We got to get some real sports here. We ain't talking any sports. All right, so look, what do you think about, okay, so we got Sterling Shepard is a slot weapon once again. So why do you think they're making such a big deal about that?
Because it's probably his last year with the Giants since they did draft the other guy, Tony. They're gonna let him go out with a bang, because I'm sure they don't want to spend all that money to re-sign him or give him more money, cut him in the offseason, and Tony will take over the rapping guy that the Giants picked from Florida.
Oh, yeah. Tony, I like
Tony.
that.
Yeah, he's another one that's on borderline, kind of hurt all the time. So he just came out of the COVID thing, and before that, his foot hurt or whatever was wrong with him.
You guys think Sterling Shepard's been a disappointment as a pro or as a Giant?
He's always hurt.
I mean, I thought I saw him firsthand at Oklahoma, from on the field, and I thought he was so spectacular in college. I thought he was, the next, top level receiver in the NFL, and he never really became that. He never really even became an all pro.
Yeah. I got a question for you. You were on the field at OU?
At Texas, yeah. It's covered. So I saw him.
Oklahoma or Texas?
I was covering for Texas, but I saw him play for Oklahoma twice.
So I played on the field because I just wanted to know if you realize, like, we played Oklahoma on the field when Barry Switzer was the head coach there.
Oh, no kidding.
And it was weird, like because they always said, you run downhill. And the way that their field, they had like a big the crown of their field. Like if you stood on the other side, all you would see was the waist. You would see the waist up. And I'm looking at it, I was like, wow, this is that. And they weren't kidding when they had like a big old pump in the middle. It was just weird the way it was set up.
Well, the thing, Texas and Oklahoma play at the Cotton Bowl every year. They play as part of the Texas State Fair. It's this giant spectacle. So it's not a home game for either team. So yeah, never actually set foot on that field, fortunately.
When you're running on a hump, that's what makes the cutback so powerful there.
But you were right. Well, when we played them, they had Marcus Dupree was there. So you got this big giant running back. He's got a full head of steam from that eye. And you're like, this guy's a lot bigger than I thought he was coming downhill.
That dude is huge.
And you can hear him coming. I was like, man, this guy is way bigger. He was all of 6'3", 250. He was big. He was a big running back.
Yeah, it wasn't the McNair. No, who's the running back from the Titans? Also was really big.
Oh, Derrick Henry, yeah.
No, not Derrick Henry. The other one before longer.
Oh, Eddie George.
Eddie George.
Well, Eddie George was a little guy though, wasn't he? He wasn't big.
Never
No,
You're talking about Earl Campbell? You're not going back that far.
Campbell was big. No. He's big.
I'm that old, so I go back that far.
Okay, so look, so what they're saying about Judge is gonna. They had already exercised his 5th year in his rookie contract for Saquon Barkley, so they're going to. We got him for 3 more years. So yeah. We got 2001, 2 more years, through 2002.
Well, they can franchise him next year. franchise them again. But
Keep them really
They
unhappy.
want to make him. I don't blame them, man. If they want to keep him healthy, let's see how things are going. And based on the offensive line report from,
I can't hear you. What are you saying?
based on the offensive line report from the Jones report,
Okay.
they have to maybe protect that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think Judges, we were reading up on Judges actually working on heavily on conditioning. He's like super focused on getting these guys in tip top shape. Just because of the COVID protocols and all those other things going on. So, so tell me, Joe, what do you think about the COVID, the requirements, the rules that they're putting in place for COVID for the team? I mean, it's a serious impact to the teams.
I'm all for it because honestly, the more those guys they can force to get vaccinated, and you saw Cole Beasley made his political statement today about how it's all about personal freedom. Well, you're in an organization where you're going to be in close contact with hundreds and hundreds of other people, and you've got to take their welfare into account. And I understand why people have hesitancy about getting the vaccine, but if you're in that kind of a situation, you have to get it. If you're an NFL player, you have to be vaccinated. So I'm all for the NFL doing what they're doing by making it two worlds, right? They're making it one world for a vaccinated player and one world for an unvaccinated player. And there's going to be a lot of guys who end up sitting out the year on principle, and that's entirely up to them. But I think it's a public health issue, and if you have an epidemic in the league, you're going to really destroy the season. And I think that's what I don't give the NFL much credit for anything they do as a league, but I'll give them credit for this, for trying to keep the outbreak that's happening everywhere else in the country from happening within the NFL also.
What do you think, Byron?
I think the way they set it up is peer pressure. They're going to have teammates like, you know what, man, you're messing with my money. If X, Y, and Z happen, I know you're not vaccinated. I don't know if it came from you. So, you need to do something about this. That's peer pressure. That's what they're putting on these guys. They're making their teammates get on them to get the shot or, whatever they're going to end up doing.
It should be though, right? Don't you think?
What, as far as the teammate?
Yeah, let you guys settle it amongst you, but here's the rule.
Yeah, but you don't think it's going to cause hard feeling, as far as, I don't want to take the shot. I'm not taking a shot. But then you got, this other guy is all over top of you every day. You got to take the shot. Come on, man. That's my choice. That's my choice. Mind your business. I think it's going to create a lot of alternative.
And then if the league mandated it, now they're going to say, here's the league again, treating us, just like, property that we have. I mean, it should be amongst the players to understand this is your job. I mean, you got to, there's other workplaces that you have to come in vaccinated.
Right.
I mean, it's frustrating the ability to flip-flop sports to a business to sports. It's a business. There's no confusion. Byron, you've told me many times. In fact, in our year of being together, some of the questions I've asked you about things happening in the locker room have made me a better business professional because I understood it, right? So this is me who didn't play professional. So when I look at it, what you're saying, I hear what you're saying, but it is a business.
Yes, it's a.
And let me tell you something. I was with businesses. I'm sorry, I was with businesses, and I'll let you go, Byron. Where people were quitting because they didn't like the way the company was handling social distancing or protocol. Okay, and they quit.
It's a multi-billion-dollar business, the NFL. That's the bottom line. It's about making that money, and they're going to let they're going to have these guys on all these teams. They're going to be the ones that are going to settle it, as far as peer pressure, to get these other guys, total line or whatever you want to call it, as far as them getting the shot. That's because if you're messing with my money, I got an issue with you.
But also the NFL, the NFL team stands to lose a lot of money too, dude. They disqualified. So it's not the owner has, because they were saying on the other shows was that, come on, the NFL, there's no way they're going to cancel a game. They're not going to let that happen. They already lost millions of dollars. So the owner has a chance to lose.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I gave the NFL credit for what they're doing, but it's not out of any, desire to protect the health of the players. They're protecting the product. They know if 7 of the top 20 quarterbacks go out with COVID, the ratings go down. So I think, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it out of the protection of the owners' wallets. But
Protect the shield.
It's comedy. I mean, you could say that, but I don't know. I'm just saying that you could do it in any of those circumstances. It's still a business. They've got to protect the players. They always protected their top players. I don't care whether it was COVID or not. You just said, well, if the 20 top quarterbacks go out, well, why do you think it's a quarterback league? Why? Because the NFL doesn't want them to get touched. You can't even touch a quarterback now, right, Byron?
Yeah, you can run that.
I mean, so whether he had COVID or not, you can barely touch the guy.
Well, one guy you can't touch is Zach Wilson because he's not playing.
The dagger.
Oh my God.
Well, guys, my battery's dying, so I might no.
No, I like that they're putting in a bunch of players. By the way, Andre Hopkins is also another one that says he wants to sit out. Now let me ask you something. I keep seeing this thing and I can't verify it. I was seeing something about that. It must be fake because there must be a fake Adam Schefter Twitter handle or something. But they're talking about that Patrick Mahomes doesn't want to play until the Chiefs change their name.
I didn't hear that.
You guys, it's got to be some fake Adam Schefter
like that.
Because I'm like, Chiefs is not racial. It's you're the head of the friggin' tribe. Redskins, I see as a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I figure after the Indians change their name, the Chiefs would probably be next. But I don't think.
Change the name?
Yeah, they're the
Guardians.
The Guardians, yeah, it just happened a couple of days ago. Yeah,
I don't understand that. How Redskins, I understand. How is Indians a problem?
Well, I think the problem with Indians now is it's regarded as inaccurate. It's Native American, I guess, would be the proper term. I mean, I think the problem in Cleveland was more with the caricature, the Chief Wahoo, which they got rid of officially a couple of years ago. But I'm just a white guy, right? So I can't put myself in the position of a Native American and what they hear when they hear these names. I think maybe, obviously, you're right. There's a difference between Redskins and Chiefs or Warriors or any of the other sort of tributary Native American names. But I think why are we picking? I understand why it happened when it happened, but maybe the time to use an ethnic group as your sports mascot has passed. And regardless of whether anyone finds the caricature, the portrayal offensive or not, to use, like I said, an ethnic group or a cultural group as a sports team mascot, maybe we've evolved past that. I hope we have. I don't know.
Well, I guess I wasn't. I don't know. I guess since I don't know. You're probably right. I just don't see any of that. The Indians, I understand now, based on what you guys told me. Redskins,
the Atlanta Braves. You got the Atlanta Braves. You got the one of the Eastern Michigan Chippewas. One of the schools in Michigan. There's a Chippewas. It's
Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, there's still plenty of them.
And to me, Blackhawks were like one of the baddest tribes there were. So I'm confused. Like, and I wonder if it is. Well, hey, look, to each his own. I don't know if it's offensive to them. It's offensive to me. But to some degree, you're gonna start wiping off that memory of any Native American without having some roots to something. I mean,
and that's the thing.
What are you going to be tied to?
Well, that's the thing. Can we replace it with something, of cultural significance that is as much of a tribute? Because I think you're right, Vic, that some of them, Blackhawks and even Florida State, there's a
Seminoles, but that's a tribe. The Seminoles is a tribe. It's not
and they're a tribe from that area. There's ties to the university. The Seminole tribe has.
They won't change Seminoles. That's not I can tell you that.
Well, I think that's the last one to go because the Seminole tribe has been so outspoken about supporting the university and their use of all the imagery and they
want their money.
I don't know. Are they getting money from the university? Are they getting publicity? I guess.
I don't know, but they're got to get, in other words, the Seminole name. I mean, you got the Seminole Hard Rock. You got the, I mean, they do pretty well here.
Well, but that's my question though. Would
It's
be
a county called Seminole County. You know, I mean,
but the Seminole tribe doesn't license the name of the county. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do they get any money from the university for using the name? I wouldn't think so. I'll have to look
People
at that.
stop being so sensitive. All it is a name. That's what the problem is. People are just too sensitive. You got people sitting at home on a little computer. Hey, what can I be angry with today? Oh, I don't like that name. And the next thing they start a whole big old drive, to get rid of things. People are just too sensitive today.
You know what I would like to see a drive is every single day, people, at least 20 people of any color that is not where you're from, do something nice every day. Make it an action to be positive, to do something instead of trying to stop doing something. Right? Because to me, that makes change. Saying hello to someone, opening up the door for someone, saying how you do, something nice to someone.
Volunteering for Meals on Wheels.
Volunteer and chasing people down in spandex.
And get yelled at. People call me fat boy. Hey, fat boy, go get me a hoagie. Stuff like that. I got here. And these are like that.
Oh my God. Oh, that's funny. Hey, so all right, so that with the COVID piece, they're allowing how many are they open up the stadiums full?
Yep.
I think most places, yeah. I mean, I imagine there might be some counties in California that are still having rough numbers that might
I know what I want to say.
Yeah, they might keep capacity down, but I think for the most part, sports arenas are open for business.
Well, let me tell you though, the other thing that I think
for the most part, sports arenas are open for business.
Someone's got the Facebook on. Hey, the one thing that I think that can happen also with a COVID outbreak, it's gonna deteriorate fan interest, and I think it could be a bigger explosion of if something happens, if there's another Delta variant, because of how close and how big these stadiums are. You know what I mean? It's like being in an elevator where people say. So I think there is a huge risk of just people being super concerned and setting sports back in general.
So if you're the governor of Florida, do you tell the Dolphins they can only go 50% capacity this season?
No, I'm bringing it back to the NFL ruling on how they're conducting the COVID. I was adding that to the other piece that there's a lot more at stake than just the games, just everything. Fan fear, it's all money. There's no doubt money, but it could be a trickle down effect. Because football is a super popular sport overall, and I just think it'll be a trickle down effect. That's all. And it's so many people in so many places, right? And you don't want that to happen. And remember, you don't know how the protocol is going to be with the fans and so forth. It just still, you don't want the athletes need to be protected, right? As well as the fans and as the workers, right? So you got a lot of people in the stadium at any given time. There's got to be at least 100,000 people in the stadium at one time, and that's not counting Texas.
Well, and you think about too, a lot of these places, there's 3 times the capacity of the stadium out in the parking lot tailgating for 5 hours while the game goes on. There's people in Texas that never go into the games, that bring TVs and generators and set this stuff up. And I'm sure it happens every major college program in the country, not just Texas. But yeah, I mean, those crowds are 3, 4, 5 times the size of the stadium sometimes. And the problem is we've been cooped up for a year and a half, and I saw it on this cross country trip. It was hard to get a hotel or a campground in a lot of places because everyone is out just like it feels like everybody just got released, and for the first time in a year and a half, people can go do things. So people are going to go do things. People are going to go to football games. People are going to tailgate.
Hey, I got my shot. I was going to get one. I got
mine.
I got mine. I finally decided I wasn't. I was going to wait till they had to come and stormtrooper to my house. I don't know what happened. Just decided to, I see that variant coming around or whatever. And then I say, you know what? If my family's getting it, I don't want to take any more chances for somebody else.
Yeah, that's the thing.
During COVID was more about giving it to someone else and having it affect someone in their family. That probably would have bothered me more than anything else.
Right, and you've got more than just yourself to consider too, Vic. You've got your family. So I'm glad you got it.
They all got this shot.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you all got it, because the last thing you want to do is bring it home to your family, and even if they're somewhat protected, it's still, people with the vaccine are still getting the virus. It's just supposed to keep you from getting really sick. And I don't know if I told you guys, but I had it last year, and after I got it, I was going to be first in line for the vaccine. I don't care how experimental it was, how many microchips they're planting in me. I was going to get it because I never want to be that sick again.
I had it last year too. I didn't have a problem.
Well, you're young and healthy. I'm old and fat.
What are you talking about?
I stayed in the house.
I'm almost a decade older than you.
That's amazing, because you look like you're 10 years younger than I do.
I'm 56.
The hair.
Don't be a hater.
It's that nice Florida living, man. It's all that sunshine.
No, I'm 56. Yeah, I had it. I had no problem. Let me tell you something. I had the greatest sleep I've ever had in my life for 14 days straight. I've never slept that well 14 days in a row, ever. I don't even remember.
Man, I couldn't walk 2 steps across the room without huffing and puffing. I thought I was going to choke to death in my sleep, actually.
All I had was major muscle soreness for 2 days. I had no taste for another 7 to 10 days. And I would work. I was tired. I worked full time. I took my life and health course, passed it in 4 days, and just kept going. Except my wife had it at the same time, so I slept in my daughter's room because she was at Florida State Seminoles. Just in case I can't say that in the future, Seminoles. And that was it. And I just kept going. Really, to be honest with you, I slept. I was sweating when I woke up, but I'm telling you, man, I slept like a baby. Oh my God, it was the greatest. And then I got this shot, and this shot hurt me for 2 days. I felt worse with the shot than I did when I didn't get the shot.
Yeah, I was a little wiped out for, it wasn't the first day after. It was the second day that I felt worse after I got my second shot. Yeah. And my arm was sore.
And then the second day. And then my arm didn't bother me until the next day. And then I said, well, man, that hurts.
Yeah, that was more sore than I expected. Yeah.
Was that?
I was all good. I got the shot in April, and I was fine.
Did you you never had it though?
No. Hell, no. We locked this compound down. I didn't go out I went as far as my porch. I didn't go anywhere.
I'm just wondering because I had it, and then I've been around a lot of people that either had it or not, and nothing, so a friend of mine suggested for me to go test with the antibodies. I never did that, but I'm just thinking it was that. So, all right, so we're almost wrapping this up, but I want to get a little bit more into sports. One more thing. Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC. What's going to happen, Byron? Is there only going to be 2 conferences in the country? I mean, how many? First of all, number one, how many teams can an organization, like, you know what I'm saying? How many teams can a conference take?
Yeah, but they still got to vote on it. The other teams do have to vote to see if they're going to let them in. So it's not like a shoe-in that they're going to get in, but most likely they will.
Yeah, who's going to say no?
I'm sure. Who's going to say no?
Yeah.
Well, Oklahoma State? Not Oklahoma State. Who's down there? Probably Mississippi will say no. It'll be somebody. Somebody's going to say no.
Texas A&M probably will say no. Now they're going to be gone. Missouri, no, because they're going to be irrelevant. They're better off going back to where they were once those teams. When you think about it, those 2 teams come into the SEC. They're going right to the top with the other teams, right?
Are they really?
I don't bring the other teams down.
I don't think Texas is there. I don't think Texas is there with Alabama and Clemson or Clemson.
No, but they're above Texas A&M. They're above Missouri.
Have you seen the Texas
Carolina? Come on, think about some of who you're playing.
All right, but they're slotting in the middle.
You're going to knock off the whole point of those other teams coming in. Is just those teams were starting to play well with the Manziels and all that, and never panned out for them.
I think the teams I think they're more of a threat in both Oklahoma and Texas are more of a threat in basketball than they are in football right now, which sounds weird to say, but they're both basketball programs are ahead of the football teams. I mean, Oklahoma is more of a threat than Texas. I can't believe I said that on the air. Good God. have to turn in my burnt orange.
Mhm. So
Texas has big money. They got those donors down there. That's big money in Texas. So I'm sure they're gonna. Oh, SEC, here you go.
Yeah, the
and remember,
Texas.
they're one of the states that they could get paid, right? Because didn't Andre say that there was like certain states in the South?
7 of them.
Yeah,
Justin goes, yes, please send Missouri back.
the Texas. Byron, you're right. The Texas boosters are angry and they're losing patience for this 6-5 garbage. So it's not going to be much longer. The Texas boosters who run the program.
Why do you think? You think they're moving for basketball?
No.
It was all football. It was all a football discussion. But
no,
you may be right for basketball because SEC. I mean, Florida State is good in basketball. University of Florida is good in basketball. Alabama was okay.
Yeah, I think they know they can compete in basketball right away, and maybe that'll be enough to drag football along. I know there's been optimism at Texas that the football program was moving in the right direction for a long time, 10, 12 years, and they've been flat for 10 or 12 years. And they never should have got rid of.
For going in the SEC if they haven't been playing well to begin with. I mean, you're going against powerhouses. Justin's saying that both of those teams don't play defense. They're not going to be doing well in the SEC if they don't play defense.
Well, I think they're both hoping that it helps the recruiting. I mean, if Texas is playing, if they're playing, it's a better schedule. I mean, there's not much enticing about going to play Kansas State and Kansas and Oklahoma State, as good a tradition as some of those programs have. It's just not as glamorous as the SEC games.
No.
Yeah, because I mean, think about that's the problem. The SEC is so powerful. Like just every school you name there, pretty much everyone knows except for a few of them, right? Like particularly in football, like Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, but Texas and Oklahoma are good in baseball too. They got a good baseball program.
Yeah,
OU has a good women's softball program.
Florida State
so
too.
Texas, yeah.
Florida State's won the championship.
They're both Texas has good women's soccer program. Yeah, no, they're
it's globally good for these schools.
Well, I think again, like it's better. I think it's a better recruiting pitch for Texas kids to tell them that they're going to go play even in softball, Alabama and Florida, and the SEC schools than it is to send them to Kansas State. And that's why I think the SEC wasn't, or the Big 12 wasn't too upset when Missouri and A&M left, because they weren't.
So what is it, a Big 10? Now it's going to be a Big 8?
Well, that's the funny thing is the Big 12 has 10 teams and the Big 10 has 12 teams. Why can't they just switch names? But yeah, now it's the Big 8, which they used to be.
So let me get this right. It's harder to switch a number as a name than it is to switch like a tribal name.
A racist mascot, yes. I mean, look at the Redskins.
I gotta go racist mascot.
But look at the Washington football team, which
the
WTF. What's that?
The WTF team, right?
Yeah.
Like WFT. I'm sorry.
They don't it's been a year and a half. They still don't have a damn name. Just pick one. It took Cleveland 6 minutes to pick a new name.
But it's funny. It's easy. Like Byron and I, we just call it Washington. We just call it Washington.
One at a time. I didn't hear either of you.
They have some guy that has like 40 or 50 names that he trademarked that the Washington football team. Yeah, some kooky guy. And well, if you want this name, you got to pay me.
So you know what? He probably bought the GoDaddy $4.99 or $4.99. He bought the URL, the domain name.
Yeah. So you know what? Give the guy $500,000. I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
Yeah,
I'd take it.
Yeah.
So would I. Wish I had thought that far ahead.
Yeah.
That's what people used to do. So anyway, they were mentioning because they also said that they wanted to get in that division because of the expanded schedule. Oh, the playoffs, expanded playoffs.
The 12-team play, where they'll be playing.
Yeah, so what happens is they feel that if they're in that conference, they got a better odds with a better schedule of being able to make it. Because now I guess correct me if I'm wrong, because of that, and based on what they just said about, or what I just said regarding them getting into the expanded playoffs, now does it really matter who wins your conference?
Well, and we saw this in the Big 12, right? I'll make sure I get the conference right. In the Big 12 for the last 5 or 6 years, that an undefeated season in the Big 12 was worth a 2-loss season in the SEC. So maybe both Texas and Oklahoma figure their odds are better. Even if they lose a game or two in the SEC, their odds are much better in making the playoffs than even if they win the Big 12 championship. I mean, you saw the
argument.
Yeah. So I think, and we're going to see, this is going to mean a whole cascade, because the Big 12 isn't going to survive with 8 teams left. There's going to be 2 that go to the Pac-10. There's going to be some that go to the Big East, whatever it's called, the American Athletic Conference. They'll split. Some will go to Southwest. There may be a couple that join the Big 10. Like those schools are all in the middle of the country. They can all sort of find a place to go that's not geographically ridiculous.
Ever since University of Miami left the Big East, it's been a disaster for them.
Well, I think we might be headed to 4 16-team super conferences, and everybody else is sort of irrelevant.
Really? Yeah, because they don't even call Division 1 AA because of the football
championship, FCS, right?
Yes, football, yeah.
Yeah, and then
football college
football championship series or season. The other one, football or bowl championship, which it doesn't make sense anyway, because the one with it's labeled bowl plays a playoff anyway. They both play.
Unless you go 11-1, you were at Tulsa.
Whoa! Time out.
Yeah, in the what conference? The Mountain Dinky Conference.
We were in the Missouri Valley Conference then.
What was your record, Byron?
We were 10-1, and we went to the Tidy Bowl.
They didn't even get them into a bowl.
The what bowl?
They didn't get into a bowl.
Tidy Bowl. We didn't go anywhere.
They didn't go to a bowl at 10-1.
No. Wow. Well, back then there weren't 600 bowl games.
There was a Chick-fil-A. That's why it was a Tidy Bowl.
Game.
I'm sorry, Byron. I cut you off. Say that again.
I didn't hear you. What you saying?
No, you were saying, and I said I was.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man! Don't get me all started again. We went 6-5, 6-5, whatever, 10-1, and 6-5, and we got nothing. Tidy Bowl, Toilet Bowl,
Chick-fil-A Bowl. They got
Chick-fil-A, the Hamburger Bowl, the Hamburger Helper Bowl. They got everything.
They got some bowls I don't even know they were on. It was just some college teams playing.
The Toilet Bowl, don't they play that at Flushing?
Yes, they
Stadium.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin Riley said the Washington should be called the Sentinels, or like the replacements in the movie.
They should be called the Red Tails.
The Red Tails. Yeah, but now who's making fun of redhead people?
No, the Red Tails are the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that seems to have support from everybody. They wouldn't have to change the color scheme; can stay the same.
Airmen were called Red Tails.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know the Tuskegee. I can't even pronounce the word, but airmen. I know the story and I read the history. I didn't realize the Red Tails. I don't remember.
Yep.
That was one of the first names I heard suggested, and that was again more than a year ago. I was all for it. Why not? But seems like they're going very, very carefully. I don't understand why.
They don't hurt anybody's feelings. Everybody.
Byron said that Justin said somebody went to the Cheez-It Bowl.
That was us. We were the Cheez-It Bowl.
I do remember there was a Poulan Weed Eater Bowl, and that was sort of when it went off the edge for me. I'm like, really? They're not even trying to give it a name now. They're just going to call it the whatever, the Coca-Cola Bowl. That's sort of when I lost it.
Well, my cousin played in the Garden State Bowl.
Oh, I went to a couple of those.
When Rutgers played Arizona State.
I went. Yeah, I saw Cal play somebody in one of those too.
State Bowl. It's like the Bowl of New Jersey. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a little better than.
Who wants to play a bowl game in the state of New Jersey in December or January in the cold? Where would you rather go?
Well, I'm the idiot who went to.
I don't know, but if I was at Tulsa and I was 10-1, I would have went to any bowl they would have invited me to. But then again, maybe not.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay.
So if they would invite you to Garden State Bowl, would you have gone?
Of course, I'd have been home.
Oh, that would have been fun, right? You would have.
I'd have hung out with Perth Amboy. I'd probably got in trouble. Doing whatever.
I'd have hang out with Perth Amboy.
That's right. You would have got suspended the night before for getting caught in some bar.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Arnold's Bar, per thing. But I got caught for hanging out at Arnold's Bar.
Yes, you would have. Someone would have told on you. Thank God there's no cell phones or anything back then.
Well, this is wait a minute. Do I have it?
So, guys, hey, look, this is what's taking place. Everybody's out there. We have one more week on Wednesday, and then next week's the last show on Wednesday, and then we are going to go back to Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Because this midweek is a little bit difficult. I think I like Thursdays better anyways. What do you think, Byron?
It was cool because all the crybabies that we had. I'm called crybabies. Oh, I would call in, and how many called? Maybe a few, whatever.
And then the guys that we want calling in can't call in, like Justin, Mark. I mean, a lot of these guys. Now we got Joe here. Andre's coming back as a regular. Joe, you should come on with Andre. Andre's got some talent, man. He knows a lot about the analytics, right, Byron?
Don't forget the other Jet fans we got.
Who's the other Jet fan?
Richie.
You don't even Facebook anymore. I gotta give a shout out to the Knights of Columbus of Perth Amboy. They won their second championship in softball again. They're just lucky that the Amboy Floors team that when we beat them last time when I left Jersey. So I just want to remind them about that one. But congratulations, Knights of Columbus of Perth Amboy. All right, so look, next week's our last show on Wednesday. They'll be on Thursday. And Joe, we want to check out your show again. Is on Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. It is Joe. Why don't you give a quick plug for your show?
It's called the Sports Plus Show. You can go to valleyfreeradio.org Saturday, like Vic said, 11 o'clock Eastern, or go to thesportsplusshow.com. You can find all the podcast links there.
All right, awesome. And then I just want to give a little shout out to our friend and also co-host, a special guest host, Justin Riley. He's got his show on the Bama Standard. This week he's going to have John Parker Wilson. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Byron. John Parker Wilson will be a guest. Yeah, John Parker Wilson will be a guest on the show. Next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the Bama Standard, and it's going to be via CTS. That's Cat, Tom, Sally, CTS interview room on YouTube channel. So John Parker Wilson will be on the Bama Standard on the CTS interview room on YouTube channel. Check him out. Justin has got a good crew there. Yeah, pretty cool. Bama ready, better be Crimson ready, right, Byron?
Yeah, roll tide.
All right, listen, we always like to end our show with the Gary Sinise Foundation. Freedom, security, and precious gifts that we as Americans should never take it for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hand in times of need to those who will willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise Foundation. Please, you can donate a little bit there, help out our soldiers, our military, our first responders. It would be helpful, and every dollar counts. Don't forget, again, download our app on podcast on your Apple phone. Go to Jersey Boy Sports Talk. You should be able to see this picture like this, Byron and I there. Boom, hit it. You'll get it live. Hit your notifications on YouTube for the Jersey Boy Sports Talk. We like to hear from you. We like to thank people that are commenting on and coming in our show. We got a lot of good friends that come out there. Again, I'd like to throw out our prayers and a blessing to all those who've lost loved ones. This show today was dedicated to Ed Stewart and his family, a family member of the Jones family, who are near and dear to my heart. Throw a blessing out for those family and those just going through some tough times as we talk now. And we're about to wrap up the show. So again, don't forget, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. But from then on, it's going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. We're not changing it unless we decide to. We're going to go from there. Byron, we excited for NFL season's already getting started. I think this week, no? Or early next week.
Everybody's in camp. I think the Hall of Fame game is next Saturday, I think. The Hall of Fame game is the first, 9 days or whatever. I think the Cowboys are in it.
See that YouTube of Brady throwing that ball into the.
Are you gonna start that again?
just want to say, did you see that YouTube?
We're
Good.
gonna. I
Yo,
keep telling you,
you know the circle wheels.
yeah, the jug is fun.
The jug. He was throwing in the jug, throwing it back, throwing the jug, throwing it back. I don't know if it was fake or not, but that was
a Giant fan.
Yeah, that was fake. That was very fake.
They said that the ball can't get stuck. You can't get the ball stuck.
Are you sure you're a Giant fan, man?
I am a full throttled Giant fan.
Every week I hear about Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, but
yeah, well, because they're a fun team to watch. They're the team to watch. I also want to ask you a question. Did you see the U.S. team lose to France in the NBA in basketball in the Olympics?
Yeah, because
I mean,
they don't have good chemistry. The team that they sent over there.
Well, the problem is that the French national team, all these European and these other national teams are used to playing together all throughout the year. They just throw this team together. It's like an NBA All-Star game. The NBA All-Star game isn't good basketball.
France has 5 NBA players on there.
Right. Well, they're
not playing together all year anymore. These guys are in the NBA. The difference is, like Rudy Gobert said, is that they're used to playing Olympic style basketball.
It is. It's a difference, and right? It's actually more.
Those guys individually are better than us. Collectively, they're not. I mean, this is Rudy Gobert. It was like Defensive Player of the Year. And we lost. Byron, I don't know if you saw that game. We lost with Kevin Durant taking. First of all, he didn't take shots like he needed to in the end. But then when he did, missed. Jrue Holiday wide open. We missed 4 to 5 wide open threes that I never thought I would see NBA professionals miss that many shots and three-pointers in a row.
Yeah, but what did they used to do with the team? They would put the team together. Then these guys would travel around and play different exhibitions against all the other people back in the day. Right. Like Joe said, what do they do now? Here you go. You're going to Olympics. You got 2 weeks to get ready.
But so is France, though. Jrue Holiday. I mean, look at France. He had Rudy Gobert. They had Ponton. They had like 7, 8 NBA players on their team.
And I agree that
this is like the only team that has NBA players.
Right,
and, there's an argument that the best is not playing, like Harden and LeBron James and these other ones, but they should be the best in the world.
I agree that the game's different, and the game, there
was only 5 fouls, and Harden, Kevin Durant had 4.
I mean, and the European teams, the European players who play in European leagues are used to playing that style of basketball. I love the NBA, but it's turned into a combination of wrestling and leaping. It's not the basketball I remember, on the floor, the ball movement. And that's where I think the European players, not just the ones who are in the NBA, but the guys who do play together a lot, and these also, like these French national players, they've been playing on the same national team since they were 14 years old. Yep. So they do have more experience playing together than, Damian Lillard and Jrue Holiday.
Okay. I'll give you that. Right, because I guess what you're saying then is you can make the argument that even though Rudy Gobert and these other NBA players are in the NBA and being thrown together with their other NBA guys, but prior to the NBA, they were still already on that national team.
Right, and their style, aside from that, in addition to that, their style favors that kind of game more, and they may have lost some of that in being in the NBA, but that's still the root of their game is the type of play that'll be successful in Olympic play. So I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm disappointed because we do have the most talent, but it's doesn't always go that way.
Luka Doncic outscores Team USA starting lineup.
Well, he's pretty good, though. You got to admit, the guy's pretty good.
Kid, this is amazing. When he's 16-year-old, he was on that championship team. All right, well, I just want to bring a little bit of Olympics. I like seeing what's going on. I hope what's the Olympic gymnast? I hope she's okay.
Simone Biles, yeah.
I hope she's okay. It's got to be a lot of pressure to do what they do.
For her to do what she did, I mean that whatever she's going through has got to be extraordinary for her to back out at that moment, you know, and essentially what she trains
Individual
for.
and team, because it's probably even harder for her to do it as a team.
Right. Well, that's the moment that these athletes train for. It's once in 4 years that they get to do this. So whatever it is, I have all the sympathy in the world for her, and hopefully she can do whatever she needs to do to get well for, just for her own sake.
She's so phenomenal and great. So, our prayers out for her. Hope she's okay. Byron, any thoughts? Closing comments?
No, I'm good.
He's like, get off the show.
Nice. I'm about peace and love, man.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, man.
Okay, by the way, I gotta throw out Justin's not throwing a dig at me. He's like, he thinks he thinks Byron's got some good points. I'm wondering if he's a Giants fan as well. I'm blue. I'm blue, baby. Blue and true. Blue and true. I just like watching exciting games. And I like seeing the Giants beat the Cowboys. That's all I care about.
I think if I want to be miserable, I'll become a Jet fan.
Hey, join us. There's always room. There's always room on this bandwagon, Byron. Always room over here.
There is so much room. You ain't got a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's true too.
We got Mike White.
Yeah, Mike, whoever he is, I've never heard of the guy.
That's Danny White's like great grandson
Oh my
from the
God.
Cowboys. Remember him in the weight room?
I remember Danny White had some good years for the Cowboys.
They did.
Trying to fill Roger Staubach's shoes.
Yep. Yeah. Speaking of Starbuck, just ended here. Remember, Starbuck came out late too, though. I think he was like a rookie at 28 or something, or 26.
Yeah, he was in the military first.
Navy guy, yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Navy first. All right, guys. All right, have a good night. God bless. Joe, thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having me.
Energy show on Saturday at 11 a.m. Byron, as always, and God blessing. Hopefully everything went well with Ed and the family there last week, and blessing and our prayers are with you and their Stewart family. And thank you for having them on our show. It's kind of was heartwarming to hear his voice and know that I was able to meet somebody so nice and so kind like him. God bless you guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, so.